Okay, I am Jeff.
Jeff, you on? I'm so tired.
We haven't even started yet.
No.
Oh man.
For the last 4 days, I've been going to bed at 3 and 4. I'm a producer now.
You're producing music. When are these albums coming out?
So we were only able to get one done because Mikey brought his computer up, and for some reason, you know how you can on any computer you could see the Wi-Fi connection, you just click it and then connect to Wi-Fi.
Yeah,
that option was gone.
No Wi-Fi.
Gone.
Internet doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, for his computer only. It worked on our phones, my laptop, just not his computer.
There you go.
That'll be out. I don't know, because I don't know if his computer's still broken. So
it'll be out eventually.
Yeah, one day.
J-Max working on. Are you still working on 2 albums or just one? Just one.
Yeah, just one right now. Yeah, we have ideas for other albums, but
yeah, J-Mac and the Big Dirty Mike got some stuff they're cooking up. So we'll let you know when that's out. Check it out.
Yeah.
Well,
here we are.
There's no news this week. This is all actually old news. We're just dumb and didn't see it until
after.
Yeah, and then we're like, oh yeah, we did know about that. So
yeah.
David Sweetcorn, Sweaty Corn, David Corenswet, I think is his name. Superman. Is that I don't know how to say it. I've never seen him.
I don't know.
Yeah. Anyways, David Sweaty Corn is Superman. Just announced by James Gunn only 10 days ago that we missed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen this man? I've never seen him in anything.
No.
Yeah, he seems like he has the temperament for Superman.
Yeah, somebody said they put out a meme that was when you ask for Henry Cavill, but mom says that there's Henry Cavill at home.
Yeah.
That's all I've seen about him.
I kind of felt like he had a lot of he has a lot of the Brandon Routh, the guy who played Superman in Superman Returns, the new the one just before Man of Steel.
Yeah.
He gives me a lot of the same vibes aesthetically as that guy.
Right.
Which I don't mind. I have no knowledge of his acting capacity.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like Henry Cavill's proven a lot of acting capacity, not only in Man of Steel, but just in general.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I probably still won't watch it.
Yeah.
I'm on the petition for shut Superman down.
What if
as a whole?
What if Sasha Calle is in it, whom you really liked from The Flash?
I'd be more likely to see it.
You're more open to it?
Yeah.
Okay.
She did really good.
Yeah. I thought so. I just read that it was the biggest box office flop in comic book history.
Losers.
Dwayne Johnson's laughing at everyone now. He's been the only DC movie that actually did moderately well, and his still did really bad. Oh man.
Sorry, Dwayne.
Yeah. That's a petition I'd sign.
Yeah.
Keep Dwayne Johnson as black. For no other reason other than I think Dwayne Johnson movies are hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways.
I am more open to Superman though, just because James Gunn is a big part of all of DC now. So it does make me look forward to those kinds of movies.
Yeah, and I was listening to a podcast interview with James Gunn where it was just after, well, not just after, it was pretty recent, but he had said that he had written the entire script for Superman already.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And that after the script was done, they were narrowing down their candidates at that point, and obviously now they have that person. Him being such a major writer makes me more open to the idea of a different direction for Superman, because Man of Steel was a pretty new direction and I personally enjoyed it. You just don't like Superman at all anyways.
I fell asleep during that movie in theaters.
So first of all, that movie's hilarious because he has Russell Crowe and what's his name? Anyways, the two dads in that movie are like the most dad actors you could ever have, and I love it. I can't believe I'm breaking on this guy's name, but he's Kevin Costner. Kevin Costner's the other dad. Two most dad actors you can ever have. That's just a side note. I think it's hilarious that those are his two dads in that movie. Anyways, but yeah, I think James Gunn will do something interesting with it. With how bad these last few movies are going, though, there just may be no DC movies ever again. They may just be done.
That would be sad.
Yeah, Matt Reeves seems like he's cooking something up for the new Batman, but he's just kind of silently on the grind while everything else is going to chaos.
I think the one movie they have to cancel is Joker 2. Because why are you making that a musical?
Yeah.
That's the only dumb one in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know.
With Lady Gaga.
Yeah, I'm usually not a big musicals guy. There's very few that I like.
I just think, like, why are you mixing a superhero movie? Well, it's not a villain movie and a musical.
Yeah. Just to be fair, the first one's not even really like, it doesn't even really feel like a comic book superhero movie at all anyways. But I wonder if it'll be kind of like a like one of those musicals where the musical aspect of the film is like in his head or something. You know what I mean? Like that's just like how, I don't know
how they
like
end up.
Because I agree with you. I don't see how you can make that just like I don't know. Musicals seem so lighthearted in general,
right?
Like there's exceptions for sure, but it seems like such a weird aspect to incorporate in a Joker movie, unless it's like showing the craziness that is his mind.
Goes in his head. Yeah.
So I don't know. It is kind of a weird idea for that.
Cancel it.
I'm done. Goodbye. Yeah. The first one I really liked though. I did like the first Joker. But
very uncomfortable.
In like intentionally it made you feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, in the best way you can make somebody uncomfortable, I guess. That's what they did.
To alienate you as a viewer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Pretty sure that was the last movie I saw before my mission.
That's not what you want.
I saw it by myself. I just felt so gross.
Yeah. The scene when he's like dancing in the children's hospital, like out of his day job, and the gun just falls out of his like waistband onto the floor, and he's like, "Ooh, shh, don't tell anybody." That scene made me like cringe so much. It's like, what the heck is happening?
Oh, solid film.
Yeah. We'll probably figure out like the new movie news that we just barely missed and get it for next week, because that just seems to be how
that's the pattern.
Yeah, we're not very good at digging up headlines.
As one person said on Instagram, essentially 2 guys with 1 brain cell shared together is not what we needed.
Yeah, that's true. That's pretty much how you could describe exactly what every episode is like.
We've been getting so much hate for no reason.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
I love it.
Personally. I laugh at it.
Yeah.
I like commenting back.
Yeah. Because like if you're not gonna just put out ridiculous opinions that nobody agrees with, you might as well not even share your opinion.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what gets the views.
Yeah. We are the rebellious sheep that goes in the opposite direction. Like that Dr. Pepper commercial. You ever seen that one where everyone's walking the same direction and someone drinks a Dr. Pepper and they go the other way? Makes no sense, but like that's how I feel when everyone's just torching us online for no good reason.
Except for Mikey. Shout out Mikey.
Yeah, big shout out to Mikey, the only nice comment I've ever gotten on social media. But the new music news is Drake announced a album to come out with his, I guess he's released a book of poetry, and kind of autobiographical experiences and stuff. And he's announced a soundtrack kind of thing to go with that.
Kind of like what Logic did with Supermarket.
And that's what worries me. That's what really worries me about it. Like Logic was kind of going on a downhill, wrote a book that was actually kind of an interesting book. I kind of enjoyed it, but the soundtrack then was just awful. And Drake's also been kind of on a downward trajectory. And I'm very concerned that it'll just be a treacherous listen.
Yeah.
But the saving grace is he said, like in the announcement for it or whatever, he was like quoting people that say, "We want the old Drake." And then he said, "Girl, don't tempt me."
Mm-hmm.
Which I guess is alluding to that he's going to be the old Drake. But just how old are we talking? Like,
Right.
I guess most early Drake is pretty good.
Yeah.
Generally.
Yeah. Just give me prime Drake and I'll be happy.
Yeah. Like Take Care. Nothing Was the Same. If you're reading This Is Too Late era.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. I agree.
Is that just too much to ask, to like ask somebody to release their best body of work every time they make music? Like,
I don't think so.
yeah, it seems like it should just be standard. Like, hey,
just
here's,
do this.
You know, you have millions of dollars. Why don't you just keep being the best forever?
Right.
It doesn't seem like that difficult of an order to give.
No. I feel like the more money you get, the easier it should be.
Yeah, it seems like it's kind of the opposite.
Yeah. Unfortunate.
Yeah. Well,
I blame the industry.
Yeah. That's fair. That's a fair blame, I would say. I also just blame Drake because it's funny too. Yeah, it's kind of a meme to hate Drake.
Yeah,
because I really don't hate Drake.
I don't either.
It's just funny.
James would beg to differ that I don't hate Drake, but
he thinks you do.
Oh, yeah, a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of, and I mean, as we've found out, there's a lot of like weird music stands that just think that whatever artist they like can do no wrong. Like this guy that was talking about the Weeknd.
Yeah.
I agree. He's a good artist. That was gabagoo. That was trash.
Yeah, I told Mikey about that one. And he was like, I could name like 300 artists that are better than the Weeknd.
I don't know if I could do that, but
I couldn't either.
But the Weeknd,
he's
good, not without his bad music.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that was, couldn't believe my eyes.
Yeah, and there was like Fall Out Boy fans that were trying.
I was shocked.
Come at us over
that was the
Fall Out Boy song. It was so bad.
I roasted both Taylor Swift and Beyonce.
Yeah,
but Fall Out Boy is the one that
nobody said anything.
Yeah, Fall Out Boy was the most.
Yeah, people were
quick
like on us on that quick.
Yeah, didn't know people were like that about Fall Out Boy, and I like Fall Out Boy.
Yeah.
Their old stuff was good.
Yeah, their old stuff was good, and even like there was a couple tracks on their new album that I really liked a lot more than kind of the in between albums from early to now. But yeah. Anyways,
funny. I love reactions.
In the spirit of roasting artists that everybody likes and us getting flamed for it, it's new music time.
Yes.
What are we listening to?
Yes. I actually listened this time.
Oh, let's go. So, since we have talked about him on this episode, The Weeknd, The Idol, new episode.
Was it the Dollhouse one?
Yeah, there was 3 that I listened to from that episode, Dollhouse. And then there's a Troye Sivan cover of My Sweet Lord, the George Harrison song. And then there's a song called Crocodile Tears. And honestly, I really liked Dollhouse a lot.
Really?
Like, I thought Lily Rose Depp, who she's the lead actress in the show, I guess. Yeah. I thought she sounded really good for like an actor on a song. Yeah. And it's not overly innovative or new, or like, I think it seems like it would just be fitting for the show, kind of like it's not really trying to do anything too much. Right. But I thought she sounded really good, and the vocals were very intoxicating and catchy in the chorus. The Weeknd has a pretty good feature on the second half. And then the production is very solid and just what I've come to expect from a lot of the Weeknd's work. So I really like that one a lot. Yeah, that one gave me the heebie-jeebies. Yeah. That's how all of the songs from this show are, though. Yeah. Vocal wise, you're right. Like, I think the vocals were fantastic and definitely in capturing. But I just gave you the willies. Yeah. Just gave me an uneasy feeling. But the next song that I like really liked from this soundtrack was the cover of My Sweet Lord, which is from the Beatles' George Harrison, that he made a long time ago, and then this is just a cover for the show.
Right.
And I keep saying I don't watch this show, and like I really don't have any desire to, but it makes me really uncomfortable to hear this song, which is such a good, like, beautiful song, and then like know that it's probably in the context of this show in like a really creepy, bad way.
Yeah.
So I don't know how I feel about liking that, but all in all, it's a very good cover. Like, if you're going to cover that song, he does a pretty good job of it. Well, anyways, he does a pretty good job covering that song, but really what the cover just reminded me was how much I like the George Harrison version. And so I actually just went back and added the old George Harrison song to my playlist because I was like, this song's so good. And then the last song by Susanna Son, Crocodile Tears. I actually really liked the lyricism of the song, because I think Crocodile Tears is such a cool expression, because like a lot of people use crocodile tears to mean like fake tears, or like some people feel like they use it in like the sense of just big over dramatic tears. And the phrase crocodile tears is actually really cool because there's like a phenomenon where when crocodiles are like eating their prey, basically they like their tear ducts start flaring up, and so they are crying while they're eating this prey.
Weird.
And so really what like the phrase is it's like pretending to feel sympathy for something with actually malintent behind it, like you're kind of a toxic person. And the lyricism of this song I felt like really reflected that, which was a really cool way to kind of tie that together. Saying all that to say, it's a pretty forgettable song. Like the vocals aren't very like outrageously good.
Right.
It probably fits well in the soundtrack, but yeah. Anyways, I really like the lyrics, but the song was pretty meh.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I only heard Dollhouse.
Anyways, that's probably really the one to take away from it. So
yeah. The first one that I ended up listening to was this Lil TJ track featuring Young Boy, Project Walls. I mean, it wasn't terrible. Wasn't
something you'd come back to.
No.
Okay.
It meh.
Yeah.
Like nothing more than that. Like lyrics weren't exceptional. Didn't really catch my ear. Like just kind of came and went.
Yeah, and it was over. I didn't even listen to that one because not because I dislike either of those artists. I just didn't expect.
Yeah, well, you didn't miss anything. So in one ear out the other.
Yeah.
One song that I did really like and I actually downloaded were How Things Go by Lil Skies. I actually like Lil Skies as an artist. I don't listen to him like frequently. But the songs that I do have from him, being I think I only have two, but Blue Strips and I think the other one's called I listen to quite frequently. Like they're solid songs, so it makes me happy when I find another good song by him because I like his vocals. I think song wise he does really, really well. Nothing like crazy and like wow, but good song nonetheless. And yeah, I ended up really, really liking that song.
Yeah, I actually have no Lil Skies songs in my library ever, so I really just don't think I've ever given the guy a chance, to be honest with you. Is probably what it is.
Yeah, that's valid.
But yeah, anyways, good to know.
It's a good song. It's a good song.
Cool. Well, to return to the spirit of getting roasted by diehard fans, the double whammy here. Taylor Swift, Speak Now, the Taylor's version, which she just re-recorded, came out.
Yeah, I saw it and I was like, no.
Well, you were wiser than I listened through some of the popular ones, just to kind of get a taste for, because I really like this album, honestly. I think this may be top 2, if not my favorite Taylor Swift album that she's made. So I listened through some of the like old hits that she just re-recorded. And I listened through each of she released like 5 or 6 new songs that had previously not been released.
Yeah.
One of them featured Fall Out Boy,
Oh,
Electric
really?
Touch. And it was, to say it was treacherous is probably an understatement. It was really bad.
It was worse
and now
than Karma.
Fall Out Boy fans are going to be mad at me, and Taylor Swift fans don't really say anything to us, but I'm like, they're probably going to be mad about it.
It's worse than Karma with Ice Spice.
That's no,
Oh,
it's not that bad.
But it's bad. It's like right above it.
It wasn't very good. Like, just vocally, neither of them sounded good at all. Instrumentally, it has its moments where I think either of them could have done something really special and really cool with it.
Yeah.
And that probably adds to the disappointment, because like this song could have been something that was so interesting, because it really is an interesting collab, especially from an era where she was very, very, like, not very, but pretty country. Like, it was still very much in her country element instead of kind of newer pop style sounds.
Yeah.
And so on that album, I felt like it was such an odd feature that it made me like excited to see if they were going to do something really cool with it and really special, collaboratively. But yeah, it wasn't very good at all.
Unfortunate.
Yeah. The other one from that album that like specifically I wanted to mention was Castles Crumbling, which features, can't remember her name. The lead singer from Paramore, Hayley Williams, featured her, and it was okay. Honestly, like, I don't even remember hearing Hayley Williams feature on it at all, which was weird. That like if she did have a feature that they sounded that much alike on it. Probably speaks volumes as to what Taylor Swift has become. But anyways, like, long story short, with all of this album, even the old songs that she's re-recorded, it really just like highlights to me how much Taylor Swift has fallen off as she's aged.
Right.
Because I think Speak Now came out when she was 20, and then she really re-released this at 32 years old, which isn't like old, quote unquote.
Right.
But
12 years difference.
Yeah, 12 years of difference. And vocally, she's so much worse now. Like, she's such a worse vocalist. There is absolutely no vocal highlights on this album that I listened to. And like I said, I didn't re-listen to all of it, but I listened to the hits and these new songs. There's just no highlights like there is with the old stuff. And even like on the hits where it's like, okay, yeah, this is a really good song still. Like, I still really enjoy this song. The difference between that song and the songs that she's added, or anything on like Midnights or Folklore or Lover or any of her recent stuff, it just is so prominent how much better songs she used to make. Like, the quality used to be so much better. And even like re-releasing it, like I said, vocally it's not as impressive now, but the songs still stand out so much more. Like, it just immediately grabs your attention. And like, anyways,
that's unfortunate.
It was pretty disappointing, but it was interesting to highlight that, re-listening to some of those hits again and just seeing how drastically the vocal fall off has been.
Yeah.
Like, just between the two albums. So
that sucks.
Yeah.
Really like Taylor.
Yeah.
Well, old Taylor. Yeah. It's the same thing with Drake. It's quite literally the exact same.
Fair enough.
One song that, it's not that I hated it, but I definitely didn't enjoy it, was God Is Really Real by AJR. It good message, I understand, but no.
Yeah. I also wrote that one down.
Yeah, like, I don't know. I know AJR is the super hyped up, energy-based group who make a lot of lighthearted, fun songs. And I'm not saying don't do these kinds of topics and like don't experiment, whatever, but it seemed like they tried to implement that same feel during the chorus. And it's like, no, this is a serious song. Why are you being like all energetic right now?
Yeah.
Like, it just seemed out of place, especially for them.
Yeah, for sure. I wrote that song down, and you're right. Listening to it, it feels like, it almost feels bad to critique it. Like, it almost feels like like I feel bad to say negative stuff about it, because you can tell how much it obviously means to the writers. But it's really not a well put together song. Like lyrically and vocally and instrumentally, it doesn't mesh or match
Right.
each other. Like vocally, honestly, he doesn't sound great on the song.
Mm-mm.
Like the vocals are not very impressive, and they're not like a vocally impressive group to start with, which
Right.
doesn't help. The production is like very bubbly, which doesn't really match at all the sentiment that you're
No.
getting out of the song. And even just the writing quality, like the way it's written is it makes me cringe a lot of the time the way it's written throughout the song. And like I get the message
Right.
and thing that they're getting across, but like I don't know. I didn't love how it was written. I think they I want to say they've done better, but like when I really think about it, I can't think of like times where they've done anything more than like a fun summer bop that like
Yeah.
is actually qualitatively a good song.
Right. Yeah.
So it's like I don't really know what I was expecting, but at least
Right.
something better than this is what
Right.
I was hoping for.
Yeah. I
At least I wish it would have matched. Like
right.
at least then I could appreciate it. Like, hey, it's not my cup of tea, but
Right.
like I get where you're
I can
coming from.
respect it. Yeah.
But
Like
it does sound like, hey, we're trying to make a vibe that you can drive around in the summer with the top down to, and
yeah. And then
it's
he
about my sick dying dad and
yeah,
how
that's terrible.
nobody believes in God until you need him. And
Yeah.
it's
Not one you can roll your windows down to.
not one that really you want to listen to at all anyway.
Yeah, honestly.
Like, and I feel
Sorry.
bad
I
critiquing
know.
it because I know, and I 1,000% appreciate how much that probably meant to them.
Yeah.
But like again, that's where it comes from. I just wish it would have matched up, because then
Yeah.
at least I could have said that.
Yeah. To make me also not feel as bad, hey, prayers out to your family.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't really know the story behind
I don't
AJR
either.
or the dad, but it's never easy to lose a loved one. And
Right.
we've talked about on this podcast before, music's a great way for people to grieve, and it's probably
Right.
something that they need more than what their
Then,
fans
yeah,
need or what the
absolutely.
radio even needs.
Yeah.
So
And for that, I can respect.
absolutely,
I can always
1,000%.
respect somebody putting even if it's not a great song that like people won't listen to. I respect anybody like being that vulnerable and
Sure.
putting their work out, something that's close and dear to them. So all in all, respectable. Not my cup of tea.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
I listened to Merch Madness by Lil Baby.
Likewise.
I don't know how I felt about it. I think people are way overhyped about Lil Baby, to be quite honest. I think because didn't he have a collab album with someone?
He did a collab with Dirt last year,
Was that
2 years
the,
ago.
like superheroes?
Yeah,
one?
Voice of the Heroes. Yeah.
Yeah, overrated.
Interesting.
In my opinion, mainly because with that album, I think a lot of the tracks sounded way too similar.
That's fair.
And flow wise, like everything that you can critique, it all sounded way too similar.
Yeah.
I need some variety. I think, in my opinion, I think he blew up because of the bigger picture. When the pandemic was happening and all of the riots were going down, he made a song during that time, and it was kind of like on the same level as Joyner Lucas's I'm Not Racist.
Yeah.
That's kind of like what he really got blown up besides his little remixes.
Yeah.
Which I'm not saying he's a bad artist. I just think a lot of people overhype him to be what he is. And I think right now in his career, he is a phenomenal feature artist. It's not that I don't think he can be a great solo artist and he can't put out an album where it's mainly just him, get a couple features and it won't be amazing. But to call it as I see it, he is only a feature artist right now. And that's what I see him as, but he does it very, very well. He will give you a really, really good verse. So hearing this one, to me, it was just another like, okay, like cool.
It's just more of like what we've heard from every album since 2018.
Exactly.
100%. I definitely will agree that I think he's overhyped, but I think it's unfortunate that it feels like he's done that to himself because of those great moments.
Yeah.
Like he's got absolutely fantastic features on Wants and Needs with Drake, Pride is the Devil with J. Cole. Yep. One of my favorites I know we've talked about is Know My Rights with Black. He's got some absolutely great moments. And even on his personal catalog, like I personally had some moments on Voice of Heroes where I really loved what they came up with.
Yeah.
Songs that I still listen to now. But yeah, I will agree that I think his consistency is where it lacks. Like there's
Right.
just not a lot of consistency for him thus far. And I don't think that's a foreign knock, at least among non Lil Baby stands. Like unless
Right.
you're a diehard of him,
Right.
then maybe you feel like everything's great. But just for the objective listener, I think it's like it doesn't feel uncommon that people are like listening to one song from his album and
Yeah.
forgetting the rest.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It was.
I'll and to get back to this song, I don't know what it's called. Oh, Merch Madness. Yeah, I appreciated the song and thought it was cool, but like
Right.
if it was the first time I'd ever heard a Lil Baby song and it was the first song he ever put out, I'd be
Yeah.
like, oh, cool, super
yeah,
unique
that's
sound.
cool,
Like
yeah.
I like what he came up with.
Yep.
But at this point, it's more of the same. His last single, I think it's called Go Hard.
Mhm.
I really liked that one a lot.
I didn't hear that one.
I was hoping he would come with something similar to it. And for a minute in like listening into the song, it was like, oh, okay. And then it just didn't amount to anything really.
Yeah. See, he's really good at bringing a lot of hype. Like he is very energetic.
Yeah.
At least it feels like that when he raps, especially on like features. I think two of the best what is the freaking word? Examples, what the heck? In my opinion, are
I was like, what are you trying to come up with here?
what's the track you do with J. Cole? That's Pride is the Devil.
Pride is
Yeah, so I think that one and I Did It, which is off DJ Khaled's collab album or whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't care what nobody says. The song I Did It is a really, really good song. But in both of those songs, you can hear like he's having fun with it. He's like energetic. The flow that he brings is really, really good. And not a lot of people rap quickly anymore. Like it's kind of died out. Which whatever, but if he brought more of that kind of energy to his own work, I feel like it would only help it. So
yeah, I feel like when he it's those moments when he does have a lot of energy or a lot of passion that he does a lot better.
Right.
Whereas when he feels kind of lackadaisical or laid back on a track, it doesn't really work for him. And there's artists that does work for, like Travis Scott has made a living off of being very laid back and not very animated on his songs.
Right.
And for someone like him, it works. But I do agree. I think Lil Baby finds a lot more success when he has that passion and energy on a track.
Right.
Him and Drake maybe just need to hang out and figure each other out and both stop being lazy. Come with some energy on some songs. Because that this one and the last Drake Search and Rescue song from a few months ago are some of the laziest vocal and rap performances I've heard in a long time.
Which is crazy because we just heard Drake pull out some crazy good melodies on Young Thug's album.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah. We'll get there soon enough.
Right.
Yeah.
Just stop picking and choosing.
Just always do it.
Yeah.
It's not hard. Always be the best.
Yeah.
Always be the best. Literally.
That just unlocks some kind of like core memory. My dad would always say that. I'm like, dude, I can't.
It's not how it works. Oh man. I do have a couple more tracks to power through here. Being on the same kind of subject as Lil Baby's semi-forgettable track. I also found Channel Number 3 by Lupe Fiasco pretty
forgettable.
Yeah, it and it's not like there's anything per se wrong with any of these songs. It's just like there's nothing really that stands out to you or that's memorable about it or really meaningful about it, because this Channel Number 3 is just about like nostalgia and video games and childhood and like cool, but like nothing he really says or does in the song is memorable or like would keep me coming back to it. I've listened to it like 2 or 3 times now and I'm always like, oh,
like cool,
nice, like Is it good background music? Not really. Like maybe if it's really in the background to the point where I'm not really even hearing it, like it's just noise. Is there anything that I can technically point out to that's wrong about it? Also, probably not. Like,
it's just there.
Yeah, it really is. It's just there. And I guess like that's my biggest pet peeve with a lot of these songs is it feels like I don't not a money grab, but just that I don't really love when artists put songs out that aren't really their great work. Like I've heard great work from you. I don't know why.
Yeah, why are you
who's in your corner
Right.
hyping you up saying this is the one?
Do this. Put this out. Yeah.
No, like I know you have better
Absolutely
levels to your music. So another one like that is the Jonas Brothers track with Tomorrow and Together, Do It Like That. And I will say when I first heard Sucker by the Jonas Brothers, I was like,
I'm a sucker for you.
Yeah, I was like 1,000% guiltily, this sounds weird, guiltily pleasured.
Pause. You could have chose so many different words to use. You could have even just said, I was just thoroughly happy to hear this song.
It was a great guilty pleasure song. We're gonna cut that.
No, we're not. You're getting roasted.
Oh my goodness. Oh boy. It was a great guilty pleasure song, and honestly, I thought it was a really well done pop song for a group that had just gotten back together after so much time apart, and like medium good solo careers from Nick and Joe. A lot of their stuff since then has just been very forgettable. Like, oh, okay, you have a recipe now. Nothing else really stands out from that recipe. And this song has like decent moments, but again, pretty forgettable and like just a track that felt like it didn't really need to get put out at all.
Yeah, we're gonna get the same kind
Jonas
of
Brothers hate.
Yep. One song that I really did like, and it's an artist who I appreciate her vocals a lot and a lot more as I listen. But Anne Marie and her song Train Wreck. It looks like she's I just found out she's putting out an album that comes out in like 2 weeks or so. I think it said the 26th. There was already another song that I liked that she put out a little bit ago off the same album, and really good. I liked the lyrics of it. It's basically talking about like, oh, like why do you think I'm like crying over you? I'm having the time of my life without you, kind of deal.
Nice.
But it's mainly her vocal. I just really like her voice. She does really, really good. The harmonies, the ad libs, solid. They make it sound very harmonic. The surrounding sounds are just really catchy. Bring out a lot more volume in the song. And so yeah, I only downloaded that one and the Little Sky song, but
nice.
Really, really good song.
Yeah, there's quite a few more forgettable tracks that I could point out that I did listen to, but like I'll just name the artists and demand that you be better, really. Just kidding. But like along these same lines, like I guess Dominic Fike had a new album come out.
The only other one I listened to.
And I really liked his Mona Lisa track from the Spider-Verse soundtrack that he did. But I only listened to the Weezer song, the collab that he did, Think Fast. Pretty forgettable. Resentment by the Party Next Door, also pretty forgettable. Cheese by Group Love, also pretty forgettable, although it made me hungry. Just by the title, I don't think it really has anything to do with like the food cheese, but it just made me hungry. But on to some tracks that did stand out a fair amount. This one's actually 2 weeks old, but See You Later by the band Camino. Super cool song, like a very awesome indie pop cut. Ghost, the metal band, did a track called Stay for the Insidious 5 soundtrack.
Okay.
Some very cool, like almost reminiscent of Disturbed's The Sound of Silence, kind of ballad piano metal stuff, and then segueing into some more powerful guitar and things. It actually actually features vocals from Patrick Wilson, who's the lead actor
Huh.
and the director of the movie.
Wow.
Not like an overly special song, but I think in the context of the film and of the characters,
Mhm.
very cool sound and aesthetic to
Right.
pair with it. And I'm really excited to hear it in the movie. I also was pretty impressed by the song Silent Assassin
Mhm.
by Takei Meza and Flume.
Okay.
And Flume is a very unique electronic producer that I've come to appreciate a lot over the years. Um, anyways, the flows and vocals on this track are very cool. The production is this uh, really unique electronic, almost like sounds like a dirt bike engine
Oh,
at moments paired with these like gravelly electronic undertones.
interesting. Yeah.
Very unique, very standout to me on the week.
Right.
That was about it for me. I subjected myself to about half of that Cardi B song, and then I said I was done.
I didn't even know she dropped. Phenomenal.
Yeah. Any other new music for you?
No, but this time we need to actually talk about what we're listening to, what we've come back
Yes.
to.
I always forget that one.
Yeah, I know.
I think it was my idea before we started this
It
podcast to do
was.
that. So
Actually, we might have. Yeah. I think we both had input on it, and then we just said, yeah.
let's do it.
Okay.
And then we forgot it.
Yeah.
Well, I did
Multiple
anyways.
times.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I did too, or else I
Okay.
could have spoke up.
Yeah. Let's hear it. What are you listening to?
All right. So I got my 3 tracks. It seems like that's what we've kind of stuck to, is just a
Yeah, two or three tracks or artists.
right.
Yeah.
So my number one that I've probably come back to, I think I listened to this song probably 8, 9, 10, upwards of 13 songs in a single day. Is Enough by Charlie on a Friday. Beautiful vocals. Like
The Kid Leroy Jr.
Yeah.
That's who he sounds like.
Yeah. I love
Which
this
is
song.
Juice World Jr. So like
He's Juice World the third. Yeah. Spider-Man. Anyways,
that's like his most popular track, right? Enough? Something like that?
No idea. This is the only song I've never even heard of him. I don't even remember who showed me this song, where it came to be. Don't know. But it randomly came on.
I think it is most popular.
And yeah,
cool.
I listened to it like 13 times that day, and then another like 7 the next day. So
yeah, very cool. I really liked his feature on the new Macklemore album a lot.
I'll have to go and look at his catalog a little bit.
It's pretty forgettable. I listened to it after the Macklemore song. I think Enough is his only other
okay
good song. Yeah,
you know, I might like it. We'll find out. I'll do some digging.
Yeah.
Second song that I listened to quite a bit was Shoot My Shot with IDK and Offset. My brother showed me that song, and it's just a super fun rap track. I listen to it in the gym. I listen to it when gaming. Sometimes when I'm just driving around. I really like it. I like both their verses. I think Offset killed it.
Yeah.
Mama. Yeah. And then the third one would be Lotto remix with Joyner, Yandel, and Jeezy. The original version is just as good, but I like the other person that goes uno, dos, tres, cuatro, moreno, gringo, emblavato, all that, you know?
Nice.
And I like G-Eazy's verse because it's ridiculous.
That's most of his work. And like the ridiculous goofiness is more or less the appeal to me at this point.
Yeah, he starts off his verse with, "It's my birthday, I'm gonna get high. I tell a broke B bye. Got some liquids coming out of you.
Yeah, that was a spit take right there. Oh boy.
Yeah, so those are my three. Those are my three.
Very cool. I've been inspired by our haters and our discussions, more or less. I've been listening to the track Untitled 2 by Kendrick Lamar a ton from when we went through some of his catalog to talk about Mr. Morale. I find that song, the vocal inflections and the verses paired with like the jazz hip hop beat, it's just so intoxicating. It just sits in your mind and like, I don't know, it's just this super cool background presence. I feel like as I'm listening to it, it just like overtakes you. It's an experience for sure.
Right.
And then when this man was like trying to roast me on the weekend, I was like, I like a lot of the weekend stuff, but it's been like since Dawn FM that I had any stuff that I really love from him. Though that's not even true. I still listen to the popular track that he did a lot. But anyways, I went back to his album After Hours and listened to quite a bit of that, and really came back to enjoying the song Heartless.
Yep.
Super, super cool production, vocals, and flow throughout it. Really like that one. And the last one is just a total throwback cut because I just saw that they were going on their farewell tour. And honestly, I should just shout them out in general because I've been listening to a lot of their stuff for the last few weeks. But Dream On by Aerosmith is the one that I came back to. So, yeah, I was singing it just because it was stuck in my head, and my wife was doing work stuff on her computer, and I was like, "Oh, am I annoying you?" And she just said, "Yeah."
Boom, roast.
And so I was like, "Okay, well, there goes my singing career." And if comments teach us anything, there goes my podcasting career as well. But those are my songs, so that's about it for that.
That's off.
We're gonna get to the Young Thug Gunna discussion here in a minute.
Yeah, by the way, that's what we're talking about today.
That is what we're talking about today.
I forgot we didn't say that.
Not a lot of brand new albums that we wanted to chat about. Not a lot of movies or anything that we've seen, but we did want to give these more of a discussion than we gave them when they came out. And chat about those a little bit more. But Secret Invasion episode 3.
Oh, I forgot about that too.
Yeah. You've seen it today.
Saw it today. It's fresh on the mind.
Yeah.
Yep.
Likewise.
Yep.
How you feeling about it?
Super forgettable.
Yeah.
Dude, out of the 3, that was probably the most boring one. Like it's getting to that point. We're halfway through the series now because it's only 6.
Yeah.
Not looking good.
Yeah. It really just leaves me wondering how long you can stall.
Right.
Like, how long can you keep stalling things? And there's no real, like, it's all this suspense constantly for nothing.
Yeah.
Like, there's literally nothing that's really happening throughout every episode.
Yeah. And after you told me that the writing was really bad, I've seen it.
I was gonna say that again.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad.
The whole scene where they're in the little bar or whatever, and he's like, what do I have to get you to, or what do I have to do to get you to like come along? And he goes like, you have to say something like, Talos, I need your help because without you, I'm useless. And Nick Fury kind of gives him the eye, and I was like, okay, yeah, that's stupid. He's gonna walk away. No, he turns around and says exactly that, and I'm like, you little suck up! Like, how dare you? Or the line, where he comes into his wife and she's like, oh, what have you been up to? And he's like, retirement. And then she's like, oh yeah, well, what are you gonna do on your downtime? And he goes like, well, golf's never really been my thing, so probably revenge. And I'm like, what is your problem, dude?
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Yeah,
this episode was also pretty bad. I didn't really notice it in the first episode a whole lot, but these last 2, it's stood out to me that, I don't know, whatever they paid AI to do the opening artwork, they should have paid their writers that instead, and got some solid writing.
No, literally, because like
they've put way more money into the CGI and makeup and stuff and the salaries of Nick Fury probably than the actual.
It's just crazy because like, first you take a story that, I mean, unless I'm mistaken, should be like an Avengers level movie. That maybe that's
about that in this episode.
Literally.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, like, you have people like, you have Nick Fury, but you also had Maria Hill and Rhodey. Well, one of them's dead.
And the Everett Ross guy that died 5
Everett
seconds
Ross.
into the first
episode. So 2 of them are dead.
Yeah.
And then Rhodey had 5 minutes of screen time so far out of 3 hours.
Yeah.
Okay, well, then what else do you have? Okay, well, you have Nick Fury and one scroll, and I mean, well, two scrolls that are on your side. Guess what? Another one's dead.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of leading up to it's really not that big of a deal. This whole secret invasion is not as big as we're thinking it is, apparently.
Yeah.
Good job. You stopped World War III, I guess.
Yeah. That was pretty much like it took like 45 minutes to get 2 minutes of work done in the episode.
Yeah, literally. Like the most action we've gotten was in the first episode,
Yeah.
and that's it. We have not gotten action since.
Right.
Um, yeah, I don't. It's infuriating at this point. Like, just do something good.
Yeah. I really
But
it really just leaves me wondering how long you can stall. Like
right,
you have to go somewhere with this, and they're like talking about, oh, we're gonna impersonate the superheroes, which is a big part of the Secret Invasion comic line.
right,
And we're gonna get their superpowers. And I'm like, oh, okay, this is like something's gonna happen in
right.
this episode. No, still
Yep.
stalling.
Nope.
So like these last 3 episodes better be bangers if it's
Literally.
gonna save the show. And honestly, like I give it till the 5th episode. If it takes you 5 episodes to get to the good 6th episode, I'm gonna be really disappointed.
Oh, same.
Unless it's like a 2.5 hour movie special to end it.
Right.
But I would maybe give them 4 episodes. Like if it takes you 4 episodes and the last two
Are
after that
phenomenal.
are really phenomenal, I'd give
Sure.
you some leeway, sure. But like I really just wonder how long you can stall like what you're
Yeah.
getting to and like not have fans lose interest, because I'm getting there. I'm
No,
getting to the point where I'm like, I'm really just watching this because we're gonna talk about it.
Yeah. That's how it was today.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, oh crap. I gotta watch that. Like I totally forgot about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just seems like a waste of my time right now.
For sure.
Which sucks because we had great like the first couple batches of Marvel shows were really good. Like
Yeah.
I enjoyed a good majority of them. WandaVision, I enjoyed the Captain America one. Hawkeye was really good. Loki was incredible.
You didn't like Moon Knight, did you?
It was just boring to me.
Okay.
Like the last episode was really good.
Yeah.
It was, because it had the action. And, well, I mean, it had
Yeah.
action throughout, but
Sure.
yeah, it was just a little boring to me. Like
Okay.
I appreciate it a lot more now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like what happened? Like you were doing so good with all these unique ideas. Like there were a couple cringy parts throughout all of them, but it was good. Yeah, like I was enjoying it. I was like, oh, like the new episode is on. Like I gotta watch that. That's the first thing I gotta do. So I just don't get what happened and why it happened so quickly to just go down the drain. That's
Right.
what's upsetting because they've done good. So it just seems like today we have talked about old and now, and why aren't you old and good?
Yeah. Just be better. Like if you're
Literally.
gonna make entertainment, you have to be the best. That's the
Really?
point of today's
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah, that's a great message.
It's kind of facetious of me to say it like that. And we're probably gonna get idiots on social media that think we're being serious when we say that. But
Yeah. Oh well.
anyways, move on to these 2 albums. Controversial artists, controversial situation that they're in. Gunna
Oh, yeah,
Young
weren't they
Thug.
both together in that whole situation?
Yeah, so from my understanding, and this could, there could be developments that I don't know about. Young Thug is the head of YSL record label, which is currently under investigation or under prosecution, I guess, for criminal activity as a gang. And a lot of artists, including Gunna, have been released on plea deals where they essentially like have given the court information or whatever in order to avoid jail time. Gunna's been getting a lot of hate for doing that. There's a lot of like sneak disses on this Young Thug album kind of about that, even though Gunna adamantly says they're cool. But
Right.
like Young Thug's album cover is 9 people in a courtroom, including him,
Mhm.
as defendants, which is how many people are still left in jail because of this
Yeah.
situation. And there's a lot of like little sneak disses, mostly from feature artists, but on a phone call
Yeah.
that appears on the album with Young Thug, he kind of pokes a little bit at Gunna's song "Pushin' P."
Mhm.
Um, I'll start by saying, like, I don't like, again, we talk about this a lot. Like, talking about the music doesn't really have any implications on the like our feelings on like the
Right. The actual
legality
people. Yeah.
of the situation. I will say that it irks me when people defend things such as murder
Yep.
to
Yeah.
because they like somebody's product.
Yeah. It just like their music and
Yeah. I,
not the person. Like that's a terrible
I
thing.
would think murder's a pretty safe place to draw the line
Yeah.
of no, you should be in jail.
Right. Yeah.
And
Oh.
if evidence comes out that like it wasn't them or whatever,
Right.
cool, great, like absolutely. I hope not, but it does seem weird that people are so adamantly like free thug.
Yeah. Like no.
Okay.
Like if don't break the law.
Yeah,
Like
well, and at least murder seems a fair place to draw.
yeah. Yeah.
Like I know there's a whole slew of charges ranging from not very severe
Right.
cases to things like
Very
murder.
severe cases.
Anyways,
Yeah. I just don't get how people record in jail. Jail is not supposed to be a fun time.
yeah, none of this album was recorded by Young Thug in jail, other than that phone call. But
Oh, never mind.
yeah, there's artists that do that though.
Yeah.
I remember Kodak did that with a song or two,
Yeah.
something like that. And
Wheezy did that too.
did he?
Yeah.
Anyways, do you care who we talk about first?
No.
It's the same, only different.
Yes.
Well, I guess we can go in order of release. A Gift and a Curse by Gunna came out. And these are two artists that are very similar sonically. I feel like they have
Very
a lot of
similar.
the same production, which makes sense being on the same record label. Even vocally, they have a lot of similarities in their style and their inflection.
Right.
I mentioned on previous episodes, I tend to prefer Young Thug's performances over Gunna's for the most part, though I think Gunna has some good moments. And I think Young Thug has a lot of not so good moments as well.
Right.
I was very curious to hear A Gift and a Curse after Bread and Butter came out, because lyrical content wise, I thought it was a very impressive song vocally, or not so much vocally, but flow wise, production wise.
Yeah.
And I liked at least hearing him say something about the situation, regardless of whether or not I feel like he was in the right with any of it.
Right.
So I was pretty curious to hear how it was, or how the album was going to turn out. And the first time I listened through it, like right when it came out, I don't think I listened through all of it, but I was pretty disappointed compared to how much I liked Bread and Butter. But I will say this second time through, I found myself enjoying a lot more of it while still recognizing that I didn't think it was a great album.
Yeah. I didn't listen to this album at all when it came out, besides Bread and Butter, because it was one of the featured songs on New Music Daily. And I remember I didn't mean to listen to Bread and Butter. It just kind of appeared out of thin air on my phone and just started playing. So I heard it. It's not great. It's one of the most mediocre albums I've ever listened to in my life. There was one song, and I can respect Bread and Butter. It's just not my kind of song.
Sure.
Nor do I care to listen to it ever again. Like, I've now heard it twice. Cool. But the one song that I did like, because it just seemed fun, was Cash Shiz. Yeah, just not really serious. Like, it was just,
you like the money
whatever.
counter sound.
Yeah. It was cool. Other than that, like, the production was cool. I just think Gunna is monotone. I don't know. I don't know what he is. He's just very like one flow. I don't want to like one trick pony. Like,
yeah, it is a pretty one-dimensional album.
Yeah,
I feel like if you hear one song, you kind of get the gist of the entirety of it.
I love the cover art. I'm not gonna. I think the cover art is super cool. Like, very unique, very different, weird, but I think it's
the weirdness.
Yeah, like I love art. I think
yeah,
super cool. I enjoy it. But yeah, it was cool, I guess. I won't ever listen to it again. Like, I don't really care for Gunna. I think every once in a while he does something pretty solid.
Yeah.
He doesn't have terrible features. Like, I feel like both him and Young Thug tend to do a lot better on features than solo projects. But it seems like most of the time when an artist is, to me at least, when an artist doesn't do great vocally or lyric wise or song making, the production is usually a lot better. At least that's what I notice in artists. I feel
it better be, because if you can't do anything right, you shouldn't be popular.
Yeah, no, literally. And so that's how I feel about both these artists, because I'm not super fond of either of them. Like, I could care less, but they are usually really solid when it comes to producing. I do like the sound of their tracks. Just they don't really do anything for me in any other aspect of music making.
Sure. I will say, like I mentioned, it did come across as a much more enjoyable listen to me this time. The tracks that I felt like I enjoyed the most were, and again, we have to keep this in perspective. Like, enjoyed the most isn't a very high bar with this album, but I really liked Payback, F You Mean, Rodeo Drive, P
F You Mean was
Angels.
good, actually.
Excuse me, not P Angels, Born Rich, Go Crazy, and Bread and Butter. Those are my, like, what I would consider the best tracks on the album.
Yeah.
But even those, like, I think the highest I would give any of them is a 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
And it's probably Bread and Butter, F You Mean, and Back at It.
Yeah. I did enjoy Back at It too. So okay, I give 3 songs.
Yeah. The rest of them were like, even the songs I enjoyed were like a 5, high 5, low 6.
Right.
Enjoyability.
Yeah.
But it was kind of, and again, like, whether or not anybody agrees with him, it was at least respectable and cool that he addressed a lot of stuff on this album. And like, it's a lot more lyrical depth than I'm used to with Gunna, whether or not, like, again, I've seen a lot of people critique it like, oh, he's a rat and he did this, and like, that's a, bad way to feel about the situation because X, Y, or Z. And like, yeah, like, cool, that's how you perceive the situation, but at least he's saying something about it. Like, he could have just come out with like a bunch of crap about cars and, partying and whatever,
right back to his normal life.
Yeah, for sure. And like, the fact that he actually came out and said some stuff about it, whether or not right or wrong, again,
right,
like, I at least respect that, like, coming out and saying something about it, and giving your perspective in spite of it maybe being an unpopular one, which is kind of the case. But all in all, I think I'd give the album like a 5 out of 10 because, like I said, it wasn't like I didn't dislike it listening through it. Like, there was maybe 1 or 2 songs that I was like, okay, this isn't very good at all.
Yeah.
But it was fine.
Yeah. Like, the highest I think I'd go on this album is a 5.5. 5. That's the range.
Yeah. And to be fair, I mean, that's higher than I think both of us gave Lil Uzi last week. So.
Oh yeah, because that was a tragedy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I really don't have much else to say about this kind of album. Onward. Young Thug. Business is business.
It makes me upset that I've heard this album top to bottom like within like the last 2-3 weeks.
It was that bad.
It's the exact same thing as Gunna. It's not different. The craziest thing is I also only have one song downloaded from this one. That being Money with Juice WRLD and Nicki. And we talked about that song. It is a really good song.
Yeah,
I agree.
You hadn't
Like,
heard it when we talked
yeah,
about it.
super good song.
Super
Yeah,
good.
like, yeah.
Super good.
It's
some of three of their best individual
Yeah.
performances that I've heard in recent years.
And it's crazy because like before that I was talking about how on Doomsday with Corday, how it felt right that Juice was on that kind of a track.
Yeah.
I feel the exact same way with this feature from Juice.
Yeah.
It feels like he belongs in that track. It doesn't feel like the company that he's with, his family, whoever's actually running it, it doesn't feel like they're just pushing him on and like, oh, here's more Juice.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
no, it felt
like
right.
it was asked for.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the only song I like. I mean, I did like Drake's parts. He did really good.
In spite of the slime on your head Nickelodeon time bars. The thing about Drake though is I'll give him a pass when it's that corny because like I know that that's him. And like if the energy's right and if the delivery's right, then I'm cool with him being that corny. But when it's all around bad and then it's corny, that just makes it worse.
Yeah, I more mean
more so mean.
Yes, melodically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, vocally he sounds great.
Yeah, he did really, really good. Yeah. As an album, it is what Gunna would do if he didn't talk about what happened. Yeah. That's what that album is.
Yeah.
It is Young Thug put out the other side of what Gunna could have done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it.
And I mean, knowing that he like this was all recorded before all this legal stuff went down, it probably explains a lot of that. But it feels so hodgepodged and thrown together because of that. Because like you have Young Thug rapping about Gucci grocery bags, and cars bring me out, and then you have like Nicki Minaj saying "Free Thug" and the lead singer from Fun saying that's life here in America, like you go to jail for whatever. Yeah, and it feels so hodgepodged and thrown together because of that. That like a lot of it just comes across again to me like these artists, including Metro, who executive produced this, are saying like using it as a platform to like try to get sympathy for Young Thug, like get him out of jail or whatever. And I'm not going to tell anybody to not, however you feel about situations, your prerogative, but it just, that's all the album really felt like. Yeah. It didn't feel like it was doing any service to Young Thug's discography. It didn't feel like it was fit together well, even his own individual performances, because it reminds me a lot of like what we're getting from Juice WRLD, because he hasn't been able to record cohesively and pick his songs cohesively. You're left with these hodgepodge moments to try to piece together in a way that works, which again is probably explained by a lot of features on the album. Pretty much every song, excepting 3 or 4, have features on it, and not only one, but a lot of them have 2 or 3 features on it. Right. And so I don't know, it feels so pieced together. I will say the highs on this album I felt like were higher than Gunna's highs. Some of those being Drake's performance on, especially on Parade on Cleveland. I really liked his vocals on that. 21 Savage's feature on Want Me Dead I thought was fantastic. Future's a pretty good feature on his track. Juice WRLD and Nicki, obviously we talked about. I think Money and With the Racks are probably my 2 favorite tracks. Yeah. There are some kind of obscure vocal moments that I found myself liking some and very much disliking others. Hellcat Kenny is one of the ones where I was kind of enjoying it a little bit. It's a very unique vocal performance for any artist, but I think he does a pretty good job with it on that song, and I find myself coming back to it a lot in spite of it not being my traditional things that I enjoy. Yeah. But then there's moments like Went Through It where again he's kind of rapping about going through hard times, but it just does not sound very good vocally for him. So You almost plagiarized again. Not plagiarized.
Not
Copyright. Whatever.
Copyright. Yeah. Yeah, it was the Hellcat Kenny one too.
Yeah.
Oops. Real quick.
Yeah.
Sake of my kids, you're terrible. That was stupid. He goes like 7 times. That's what he rhymes with.
He's squeaking.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Sounds like a door that needs WD-40.
Yeah, honestly, that's a fair representation of a lot of the bad vocal moments on this album.
Yeah.
But like, again, I have a hard time critiquing Young Thug for it because it's like, I don't know whether he even meant for that to be on any songs or whether or not he's just in the booth messing around. Let me try something new. And if it comes out cool, then it comes out cool. And then they're like, oh, we got this. This might fit.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. See, I think project wise, I do disagree. I think I did like Gunna's a little bit more. If we're just talking about the artist themselves, I think other than that, like feature wise, Young Thug definitely has that one locked down. I think whenever he did these songs, wherever, whatever the situation was, they were at the right time. He got the right people for each track, for a majority of it. But I think as a project, I think I did enjoy Gunna's because it felt at least relevant instead of like kind of what you're saying, just kind of a little bit of this from whenever, a little bit of this one. Let's throw in a phone call real quick.
Yeah.
And bada bing, bada boom, we got an album.
Right. Yeah. And like I keep saying, it's hard for me to critique it because like I understand that they couldn't have done anything really different if they wanted to put out this album. But I guess that's kind of my point, is I feel like they just put out this album as more of a statement than as like a
trying to
actually put out a body of work.
Yeah.
And like I said, they're fine to do that. I'm cool with you taking that route, but just like as a body of work, as an album, it doesn't come across put together very well because of that. Because you have Nate, I don't know how to say his last name, Nate Roos from Fun, the lead singer, on the track, whatever it's the closer on the first album, Global Access, where he's like this big anthemic, that's life here in America, like life's unfair, and life, is unfair to people like Young Thug. And then like Young Thug's verse doesn't even really match the tone of that at all. Like it just doesn't, it's not pieced together. You might as well have just had other artists make a song for Young Thug and not even put Young Thug on it.
Right.
Because it's so far like not cohesive.
Yeah.
And it really is such a mixed bag that like I just feel like, I don't know, personally, as like a catalog, just viewing it from a catalog standpoint, I feel like it shouldn't have even been put out.
Yeah.
As opposed to like, realistically, I feel like a better way to do what they had done is like take some Young Thug moments, some of his, pieces, or take some of his phone calls or whatever, and have other artists make a collab album about that.
Yeah.
Because that's really what it feels like, except then there's all these Young Thug moments to make it his album that aren't cohesive, that don't fit together with what's going on at all.
Right. Agreed. I'd probably also give this the exact same rating. 5 to a 5.5.
Okay. I gave this one a 6 just because I do think the highs were higher than Gunna's. Like, I think the Money track is fantastic. They all three sound great with the racks. I know 21 and Travis got a lot of flack for those, which I don't agree with. I think 21 vocally sounds good. I don't know if the qualm with it is lyrically. I know a lot of people's qualm with Travis is always lyrically. Yeah. But flow wise, it's some of his best flows I've heard in a while.
Surprisingly, Travis was one of my higher points of the album.
Yeah, I thought he sounded really good.
Man, I'm really coming around to this Travis dude.
The first thing that I heard on this album way back when I first listened to it obviously was Parade on Cleveland with Drake's
Yeah.
opening vocals. And I was just blown away because
Yeah.
vocally it's been since, I don't know, maybe Legend off of If You're Reading This It's Too Late, that I've heard him that vocally invested in a song.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I at point being, I gave it a 6 out of 10 just because I liked it, the highs a little bit more.
I'd probably put this one 5.5 and then Gunna's at 5. Switch those.
So you do like Young Thugs more now?
Well, no, just because the features were better.
Okay.
Overall, like.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, like
you're
if
comparing Gunna on his album versus Young Thug on his album,
taking Gunna.
Gunna did better, had a better performance.
Yeah, absolutely.
Album versus album overall,
I give to Young Thug because the features made the album at least somewhat bearable.
Sure.
So
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean there's not much to say about it.
Yeah, they are the same but different.
They really are. That's the definition of the same, only different.
Yeah, absolutely, like to a T. Like, we need more music.
Yeah, we'll probably get. I feel like there's going to be some passionate Thug and Gunna fans that have a lot to say about.
I don't care
our disagreements with this, but honestly, like I do kind of love when people disagree with what we have to say,
absolutely.
because like I'd rather have that than like a bunch of people saying you nailed it. Like I want to have a discourse about like, I
mean, I wouldn't mind a little bit of both.
Yeah. Like I guess if we're really dreaming here, it'd be nice to get to the point where people are having that debate
in the comments.
Sure.
Yeah. No, I'd love that. Yeah. But I love hate. I think it's funny.
I mean, like we said when we started this thing, whether anybody listens to it or not is kind of besides the point. This is just
it's literally just for us. It's
we just like putting it out, doing it. So
I went off on that one. I didn't go off, but that one person that said that we shared a brain cell, which I'm not disagreeing with. I was like, wait, hold on, let me pull it
up. This was on Instagram. I didn't even see this.
Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Where is it?
We're seeking this comment out.
Found it. Okay, it's on the Billy Joel one or the Fall Out Boy one. Yeah, they go essentially the premise of two dudes with a single brain cell to share starting a podcast wasn't needed. I say, and yet you took the time to comment. Love the support. They go, it's all you'll get. I say, you're really too kind.
Commenting on it twice just to say that.
Yeah. I like that you responded to the person that said it's not needed. Dude, it's music. You either appreciate it or you don't. No one forced you to listen to it. You said, nah, I stand by it.
I'm not taking that one back, man. I'm really not.
Bro, that one and the Maria Hill one, our first back-to-back.
People are enjoying it.
Thousands. Yeah.
Let's go.
Thanks for hating on us, guys. We really couldn't do it without you. Well, yeah, we could.
Yeah, we like we said, we'd still do this without you. But it is cool that people are taking the time to share their thoughts and feelings. I mean, really, I feel like that's the point of this or any podcast, is to make you think about things. And if you disagree with it, like, cool. Like, absolutely, that's cool.
I think a majority of the podcast, everybody has the exact same mindset of us. Like, I don't think anybody actually cares about what people are saying. Just this is what we want. Unless it's like one of those like educational ones or like sports analysts, or if it's just a casual podcast, we don't care.
Yeah,
guarantee it. But anyways,
thanks for letting us know your thoughts, folks. And what do you think about Gunna and Young Thug? Let us know.
We might have to start doing some polls and stuff. Try to get some interaction.
Yeah, try to think of how we can anger more fan bases, because I was blown away by which fan bases are so passionate.
Yeah,
like the Fall Out Boy fan base somehow is like
still hardcore,
vehemently angry that we didn't like their cover of Billy Joel.
I didn't even listen to it. I didn't even know that came out, and I still now I refuse to listen to it. So
I think I need to show you it just because it's so bad.
Okay.
Well, do check us out on YouTube Shorts. YouTube full-length videos also now. Instagram, TikTok, wherever you get your podcasts.
We just updated the link tree link.
Yeah,
It's up in the bios.
In the bios, check that out. We will be linking this playlist of what we're listening to and the new music we liked, as well as some of our favorites from these albums. A lot of new stuff coming out in July that we'll be chatting about. We got Post Malone, Travis Scott, bunch of new movies: Oppenheimer, Barbie, Insidious, Mission Impossible,
Indiana Jones if we really want to.
Indiana Jones if we get bored.
Yeah.
More so if we get around to it, I think. I just think that's lower on the totem pole.
Yeah.
But yeah, that I think that wraps up this week.
Yeah. All right.
Farewell.
Bye. Oh. I'm gonna buy myself like a little seat.